Just about.
It's about a $6,000 week in direct deposits. You know, not too bad.
Still one more cycle to go on
Still
Tuesday.
one more cycle in the month. You know, she's having a great month. Had a great last week. You know, every Tuesday and Friday you get direct deposit. You know, imagine making $6,000 in a week. So that's who you guys are hearing from right now. That's kind of cool.
Yes.
Right, coming from a retail, Costco, Target background, he's committed. He has his office. Right, he pays an office expense as an investment. He's here every day. Think about it. When you put time and energy and money into something, you're gonna make sure that it grows, right? You're gonna, anything you put money into, you're usually gonna put a focus on it, right?
Yeah.
So this guy's made a commitment, he's made a focus, his team is growing, his activity's always been consistent, so you guys are gonna learn from him today. Please give it up to Marketing Director Matt Chang.
Every single day. You know why? Because you guys are here, right? You woke up this morning. Every single day is a blessing. I want you guys to remember that. But I'm going to start with something really quick. I want you guys to write this down. It's from one of the co-founders of WFG, Hubert Humphrey. This came out of his book, The Magic of Compound Recruiting. The only flexibility you have at a job is outside your scheduled hours. The only flexibility you have at a job is outside your scheduled work hours. I mean, how many of you guys would agree that's pretty much true? Yeah. And now, the other question that goes along with it is, so what are you doing to change that? Because you want to make WFG your career, don't you?
Yes.
So today, we're talking about something pretty important that is a key essential to your business, okay? And it's revolving around recruiting. Because there's a difference between somebody being self-employed and somebody being a business owner, right? Before I get to it, a couple things. Who's planning on going to Monty Home? Okay, you need to get this book. I've had this book for almost 2 years already. Expect to win. By the way, this book does not just apply to WFG. It's everything you do in life.
Who's it written by?
Monty Home.
Himself.
So Monty Home in this book specifically talks about start with the end in mind, right? So what do you want your life to look like? And then work your way backwards, right? So like my vision for my life is by the time I'm 40, right, I got 6 years to do this, is being EDC making $1 million passive in WFG. Passive, not active, passive. There's a difference. A lot of people think, oh, I got passive income. No, you don't. If you still have to show up at your job every single day, that is active income. In WFG, if you have a big hierarchy, right, that's how you build passive income. I'm going to talk about that here today. But also, too, I'm going to ask you guys, what book are you reading right now? You guys know I'm huge on self-development. This is my second book for the month. I'm already a third of the way through this book, and it's like a 300-plus page book, right? High Performance Habits by Brandon Burchard. He also wrote a book called The Motivation Manifesto. You guys have probably seen that before, too. All he talks about in this book, the difference between somebody, you know, somebody middle class and somebody that is very rich and wealthy is all their habits. It's not talent. Talent can take you only so far, but it's a skill. And your habits, that'll take you where you want to go. So in this book, he talks about that. And your habits in WFG should be getting numbers, making phone calls, booking appointments, going on appointments and changing people's lives, right? And that's what we do here, okay? But the basics of how you're going to build your business is through recruiting and doing the fast start, right? Now, in WFG, in WFG, there are a few skills that you need to be really, really good at, right? You want to write these down. One, it's prospecting. Building that top 25 list, right? From there, it's the actual making the phone call to book one-on-ones, KTPs, writing confirmations to the BPM. That's your second skill. Your third skill is the one-on-one presentation. Your fourth skill is a client presentation of the KTP. Your fifth skill is the fast start. Okay? Your fast start sets the premise for your agents and know what to expect, right? So when we talk about the fast start, right, this is, by the way, this is in the system manual. So if you have the system manual, this is on page 31. Everything that's I'm going to talk about today, with the exception of one slide, is going to be in your system manual. So the first part is 7 keys to your fast start. So this is when you're talking to people about how they're going to get started. This is how you pre-frame everything ahead of time. So one of the part is attend all meetings. Okay, I've been doing this 8 years now. In the past 8 years, I've probably missed 5 BPMs because of either work or because I was on a company trip. Like I remember my first two Saturdays BPMs in WFG, I was still working at 5 o'clock in the morning at Costco on Saturday morning. And then after that, they told me, all right, Matt, we don't need you Saturday mornings, we need you Saturday night. I was like, I came to Nick excited. It was like, dude, I'm gonna be here Saturday mornings now. Wow. Right? Like you should be excited to be here, right? But you never miss any meeting whatsoever. Because just imagine, what if everybody in this room was on your team? How would you treat your business? Would you be late? You'd wake up earlier, you'd get here earlier. Like to be honest, I haven't seen anybody show up earlier than me. With a key, by the way, except for Nick. Outside Nick, nobody else has ever shown up before me. Plus I have an office, right? I just handed Missy my rent this morning, right? $600 bucks. That's a $7,200 write-off every single year, by the way. And when Nick's talking about writing off a car, he's right. You know, imagine writing off a Tesla payment like $1,500 a month. It's $18,000 a year you're writing off.
1,900, but yeah. Oh. Not that I'm bragging about that either, but just
right. But here's my point. You attend all meetings. You don't want to miss one, because what if somebody says one thing at a meeting that could have changed your entire business? And we're talking about convention. We talk about the $1 million P. You don't get up while somebody else is speaking. Literally. I've seen so many people get up when like Guillermo Haro's speaking, Ed Milet is speaking, Rich Solly's speaking. I'm like, how are you getting up when these guys are making $5–10 million a year, and you're getting up and go take a freaking piss? It's the same thing in a BPM. In a BPM, you don't get up to use the bathroom. Higher standards. It's part of the meeting, right? Part of your fast start too is completing a prospect list. We sit down, right? You have that 100 list, that 100 name list, and we have the qualifiers, right? Are they over 25? Are they married? You know, do they own a home? Have they been at their career for at least 5 years? Do they have income? You know, is it 50,000 plus? Are they dissatisfied? Right? Have they ever said, I want to own my own business? Most out of those, you put them on a top 25. But one thing that you have to be great at is mastering the invitation. Being good on the phone. Like if I were to toss this clicker at someone or my pen, could you invite me to a BPM? Could you book a one-on-one? Could you book a KTP with me? Right? You guys gotta realize, oh, where's my phone? It's right here, right? This is part of your moneymaker, right here. Like texting can only take you so far, right? But it's my voice, the excitement, the conviction you hear in my voice is what's going to book the appointment. Why I'm going to close someone on why they need to be in WFG, or why they need to become my client, why they need to be on my team, right? But that's all in mastering the invitation. But more importantly too is setting goals. You guys realize almost like 90% of people you know don't have goals? Can you imagine that? That's why they go from job to job, living paycheck to paycheck, trying to figure out, okay, what can I do to really change this? But without clear and concise goals, that's why you read your business plan twice a day, right? Without clear and concise goals, you're just a rat in a wheel. It just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning with no, okay, I don't know where I'm going. Right? Like Nick was asking what are my goals this year. SMD June 30th, have my ring by October 31st. Those are the 2 major goals this year. Right? And then I have to keep repeating, like who was I talking to about this in those? I think I was talking to Sella and Carolina. I'm pissed off that I didn't make 15 grand this month. I'm probably gonna barely crack 10. And that pisses me off. Right? And I was telling, what was I telling you guys? How big are you really thinking? right? So that's setting your goals. But more importantly too, along with that, when you set those goals is completing your 3-3-30 as fast as possible. And I'm gonna talk about that a little bit more in detail, a little bit further down. Remaining positive. Have a positive mental attitude all the time. If you're having challenges at work or at home, leave them in your car before you walk into the office. Throw that bad attitude in the trash can, because nobody wants to hear it, right? And something that I wrote on my Facebook the other day, positive mind, positive vibes, right? Positive bank account. You ever those people that are having a really bad day, they just like post it all over their social media, like they want the whole world to know what's going on?
Yeah, like the diary.
Because guess what? They probably got a negative bank account too. They're overdrawn by a couple $100. They're like, oh my God, I gotta pay the advance loan. Like, it's like, really? Like, I don't care that, you know, certain things are going on. Like, oh my God, somebody hit my car. That's why there's insurance. Seriously, right? But you want to remain positive. Nobody wants to be around anybody negative, right? Everybody wants to be around positive people all the time. But the key, being coachable. As a trainer, right, and as a trainee still, like a lot of people, like, yeah, I'm a trainer, but I'm compared to like Nick, I'm still his trainee the rest of my career, because he's still at a level that I'm still trying to get at. So I have to be very coachable, right? So if your trainer is asking you to do certain things, there's a reason why. We want you to have success in WFG. The only way it's going to happen is if you're in full alignment and coachable to your leadership, right? So like if we say, if you're not bringing a guest to the BPM, we expect you here for pregame. And especially if you're leading a team, we want you to be here early to set that example too, right? Or if we say, hey, we want you to come in and make phone calls with us, and you kind of refuse to, and then as you're recruiting people and you're starting to wonder why they didn't want to come in and make phone calls, it's probably because you didn't do it, right? If you want think of your team 5 to 10 to 15, 20 years down the road. Would you want them to do what you're doing right now? Missing meetings, showing up late, right? Not making phone calls, right? But this is all part of our system to help you guys. You know, most companies like a New York Life, MetLife, they kind of like, okay, they're just like, here you go, Eduardo, start making phone calls. Throw you to the wolves. Figure it out. That's why our system's so powerful, guys. I can get a guy like Eddie, code him, right, make him a client, help him build a list, and then we're off and running. Because I'm going to show him how to make the phone calls, right? And the purpose of the startup, this purpose of the setup is to show you how to get a new recruit to accept the challenge of a fast start and help them become confident in the business. During the fast start process, the associate must commit to a 3-3-30 goal, 3 recruits and 3 training sales their first 30 days. This step helps the new associate begin building his or her business by helping them recruit. It helps instill a commitment to growth in the associate's first day. Notice it has nothing to do with product. And you guys know me, I'm big on product, but I'm trying to build a business, right? That's why the system is so key. You guys, talk about building an army of people going out in the field and helping people, right? It's how many people are on your team that can go out and make a difference in people's lives, right? And the importance of the fast start, very little is accomplished by merely recruiting someone into WFG.
How true is that?
Yeah.
Just getting a recruit doesn't do much.
No. You still physically got to sit down with them, put them in the client's shoes, build a list, making phone calls, and then you're out in the field, right? A new recruit is the seed of an SMD, the beginning of the expansion of your career and his or her career. You guys have to think of yourself as an SMD before it even happens. Right? You have to think like an SMD, you gotta talk like an SMD, you gotta walk like an SMD before they actually make you an SMD. It's just like at your job. If you're trying to become a supervisor or manager, you gotta do all the work that they're doing to get that promotion. Right? The leader's work isn't complete until the new associate is a self-sustaining, self-replicating WFG business owner as an SMD. That's the key part. Right, like in Nick's organization, if I remember correctly, Nick, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It's you have about what, 55 SMDs in your entire organization now?
Yeah, that have been promoted, yeah.
So imagine that. He's got 55 SMDs in his entire organization that all can run individual business independent from him. Right? Your responsibility as a leader is to prepare your new associate for opposition obstacles that they may meet as a associate WFG, and provide positive experiences and help them achieve tangible results immediately after becoming an associate. So our job is when you get recruited, and some of you guys that are still brand new that, they're still trying to figure things out, our job is to get you a new recruit. That's our job. It's our, in all sense, yes, it's still part of our job to take you out in the field, but it's to build you a team. Like my part of the story of being in WFG, my cousin got recruited by one of his coworkers who got recruited by another couple. Like I'm 23 deep from Nick, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So where that young lady is sitting, imagine every single person quitting all the way up to me. Now I roll up direct to Nick. That's the power of building a team. Okay? How'd you guys like to override somebody like me, though? Right? Right? I think I was telling Nick for Friday cycle, I think just in override alone, that was like $1,500. Just me. Now, what if you had like 10 or 15 of me, and I'm direct to you? The rest of your career.
The world would tilt on axis.
Right. Right. From here, you helping to build an associate's business by surrounding him or her with new recruits is critical. This is done by getting a new recruit out in the field for training completed 3-3-30. Okay. So the fast start, you set up an appointment. So that means if I'm sitting down with Carolina, right, I want to sit down with her in the next 24 to 48 hours to do her business plan, set her 3-3-30 goal, right? Her time commitments, income goals, promotion goals, everything within 24 to 48 hours. Okay? Because the speed of how you do it is the speed of your team and how they do it. Like, I've never seen anybody, at least in this office, get their fast start award in less than 48 hours. I think I'm the only one in this entire room. Because I came on a Tuesday night BPM, I couldn't fill out my AMA, right? I didn't have the money, I only had $50 to my name, I got paid that Friday, right? My girlfriend at the time was my first KTP, I became a client, I enrolled in my course, paid for my tests, right? I did everything we were supposed to do for the sprint award, so in reality I probably had less than 24. Right, so that my expectation, oh yeah.
48.
Yeah, but that's my expectation as I'm recruiting and building a team. It's like, we give you guys 10 days to do it. We give you guys 10 days to do it, right? But I did mine in 48 hours because I want to get it done, right? The speed of the leader determines the speed of the pack, plain and simple, right? So the faster you do everything, the faster your team is going to do it, right? So you set up the appointment. There are a few extra tidbits in here. There's a Moment of Truth Facing the Challenge. That's a book, a small little tidbit by Swan Wynn. If you'd like to get that, I do have it in PDF. I can email it to you or I can airdrop it if you're on an iPhone or an iPad. So if you're not, please get an iPhone or an iPad, please. Right? And also too, there's read the first 60 pages of the System Builder. It's a great book. I highly suggest you get it. I also have that in ebook as well. So you set the appointment. So if you're sitting down with a couple, make sure you sit down with both husband and wife. Or let's just say like Carolina's here, then she brings in her significant other. You want him to see it at the same time. Does that make sense? Because now here's what happens. Now you can have 2 potential new clients, not just 1. Right? But it's also the reason why you want to recruit people who are married, homeowners, kids. Because if they're married with kids, now you're talking about 4 to 5 apps all in the same house. Right? If you're sitting down with married couples, there should be no reason why you're not writing 5,000 to 6,000 points at that one appointment. Right? Like you look at Felicia's family, husband, wife, and then how many kids do you have again?
7.
That's 9 apps. If you really look at it, 9 apps, just sitting down with that one family. Right? So you present the flip chart to the spouse so they understand it. Financial foundation or personal financial strategy, they become a client. They understand the crusade. It goes from the head to the heart a lot faster. right? The system flow, which I'm gonna get to next, set a 3-3-30 goal, do your prospect list, and you field train as soon as possible. By the way, in the field training, the first people that you wanna go see is what we call fish in a barrel, right? Like, your markets, your associations change with time, so you should be calling people like, you know, we hear Ed Milan talks about it. If your car broke down at 2 o'clock in the morning, who are the 3 people you could call that would help you? Those 3 people are the first people you need to go see right away, right? Those are the first 3. Now, since we're talking about, okay, that's gonna be the next slide, okay. The challenge that some people have is like, oh, can we wait until like 3 or 4 days later? No. Procrastinating doesn't do anything, does it?
No.
What does procrastinating do? It makes everything worse. Right? Some people are like, oh, can we wait till next week? Why? It's like, yes, it's a marathon here, and I want to try and get wealthy as fast as I can, but I understand it's still a marathon at the same time, right? So you want to do everything fast. Procrastination, part of human nature. Whenever possible, most people tend to wait it out and see what happens before doing anything. A common response is, once I know it, then I'll do it. So they say, well, I want to get licensed first before I go out in the field just so I can make money. Guess what? I'm going to give you a comp example. If you wait and do something like that, you're still going to have to be field trained. So in all reality, you're still a training associate. And instead of making 30% on the commission, you're actually making 15% because you got to split the sale. That's why you go out in the field first and you learn the system, right? Because you're not an employee here, are you?
No.
Are we paying you to be here?
No.
It's a volunteer army, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's how you build businesses, by being out in the field and getting licensed while recruiting, building a team. Right? Like I was telling Carolina and Isela, some of the excuses people are like, oh, I don't have time. What are you talking about you don't have time? When I first got started, I was working at 5 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was still going to school full time. I was a club president. I was helping a friend of mine do marketing for a beauty salon. I'm talking in here 10 to 15 hours a week. You tell me you don't have time. I sat down on an appointment earlier this week on Monday. And I was like, I don't have time. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you're a real estate agent. You only sold 1 home this entire year, and you've only made $12,000. An entire 4 months. 1 home. Yeah, I get she's married with kids, but even then, you've probably got 2 or 3 free days you could be doing something. Because honestly, if you're a real estate agent, are you really busy all day showing homes? Priorities, right? Therefore, most of them opt to get licensed before doing anything. They'd rather learn by studying rather than learn by doing. As a result, many fired up recruits quickly lose interest, or fear begins to set in. Licensing becomes boring, a tedious process. Most recruits end up not getting licensed, or if they ever do, they drag on for a long time before doing anything. Worse, when they get licensed, they have no team and nobody to sell to. They become lonely licensed agents. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
By the way, system manual, something you should be reading if you haven't, and you can download it for free on the WFG website, so no excuses. Fast start to spark an explosion. We can get these new recruits to go out with a trainer to recruit a few people. They will explode with renewed enthusiasm. The chances of retention and finishing licensing will be a lot higher. Help them qualify for 3-3-30 Club by recruiting 3 people and completing 3 financial strategies. You will have a winner. That's the system. That is the system. That is your foundation for your business, right? And so this is the Team Dominate Fast Track system. So your Sprint Award, your first 10 days, right? Doing your AMA, doing your 32-hour course, becoming a client, doing your business plan prospect list, or I like to call sharing list. A guest to the next BPM, doing 1 KTP, and schedule your life exam. Then we give you that little, fast start where like what Isela and Carolina got, right? Next part, your first 30 days, our job as your trainers to help you hit your 3 and 3 or your 10 and 10. That's our job. Let us help you, please. We want you to be at a higher contract before you're even licensed, right? I mean, imagine, do you want to be at a higher contract sooner or later?
So sooner.
Go out in the field and build a team. You guys realize raise your hand if you're a training associate. Okay. You guys realize doing your 3-3-30, you give yourself a 50% pay increase if you're a training associate to associate. This is the biggest pay increase you will get in WFG. Right? And then now, okay, raise your hand if you're an associate. Now you got 3 associates in here? Really? Okay. So you guys do your 10 and 10, or 4 licensed agents and 30,000 points, you're a senior associate. You're at a 55% contract. Right? And then if you're a senior associate, raise your hand. You got 3 of them in here. Okay? MD, 5 licensed agents and 40,000 points. Right? Like I was just looking at my numbers. At the end of this month, I'd re-qualify for MD on my personal pen. No team, just personal pen. Myself. Right? Because you got to lead your team. You got to write a lot of business. Right? So within your first 30 days, we want you to complete your 10 practice presentations. By the way, every single practice presentation gives you experience, exposure, and branding, and referrals. The job of the trainer is to get you 3 to 10 referrals from every single appointment that we get. Right? Oh, actually, by the way, Terry's policy just came in. So we need to call her. Right? That's 2 other IULs waiting to happen. Right? And also pass your life exam. Okay? And you want to schedule everything ahead of time, because it takes 2 weeks for your license to process. Right? Base Shop Builders Club, next big move. BBC 3, personal every single month. You want to be doing 3 recruits, personal. Your tap rooting and building agency leg. So, how I was talking about, I'm 23 deep in a leg. So, like, let's just say Eduardo's direct to me, as an example. And then he recruits Byron, he's 2 deep. Marky's 3 deep. Anthony is 4 deep, all direct, right? So he's direct, he's direct, he's direct. Right, that's what we talk about tap rooting. Okay? And then what we mean by the agency legs, it's 4 by 4. So imagine if Eddie's 4 deep, Carolina's 4 deep, Edith is 4 deep, and Reggie's 4 deep too. Right? Yeah, that's 16 people. And by the way, do you think if every single person was 4 deep, do you think they'd quit the business?
No.
Why?
Fear
of loss, right? That's why if you're helping a new recruit build a team, they're like, I'm not going to go anywhere. I got like 3 or 4 guys on my squad. Right? Then you start getting into 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 75, and 100. By the way, we get different pins for those too. Right? And then becoming an SMD, lead by example. Direct recruiting, direct field training. You know, we have a little bit higher standard in G's hierarchy. You want to develop new trainers. You want to have 25 people showing up to meetings. You want to build 2 MDs. And also, too, you have your watch. Right? Like, how many of you guys plan on making at least 50 grand this year in WFG? At least. That should be everybody. Yeah. Right? Outside of a few of the SMDs with rings and stuff like that. Right? By the way, guys, have you figured out what it's going to take for you to make 50 grand a year in WFG? It's actually not that hard. I was telling Arthur this the other day. You know, if you write 15,000 personal points consistently for about 7, 8 months, you already have your watch. That's how I hit mine in 7 months. Right? I was just floating around 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40 for years. And then, up until last year, just popped. I think the wife helps, so. Different market, right? So if you're not married yet, find a good spouse and go get married. Plus it's a tax write-off too, just saying. Just saying. You know, because if I didn't marry my wife last year, I would have paid $7,000 in taxes, right? But since I got married, I got the marriage credit. We actually got back like 4. You know? So there's that. You build big base shop, promote strong S&Ds, you set the pace for your team. Build it right, build it big, build it right, build it to duplicate. That's how you build a business, right? Like, I'm not satisfied with where I'm at. I'm not wide enough, I'm not deep enough, right? Like Anthony and Krista, they don't have people showing up here to meetings. That bugs me, right? But also too, what is 3-3-30, right? 3-3-30 strategy that encourages new associates and even well-established field leaders to kickstart their business. You guys realize when we talk about 3-3-30, there's a different mentality I want you to have. Are you just recruiting to recruit, just to get the numbers on the board? Are you recruiting to sell, right? Just like if I recruit Johnny and then I get her in, and then I'm just taking her on the field, not really building her team, right? That's just recruiting to sell. Or are you actually recruiting to build? So you're recruiting to duplicate yourself onto somebody else so they can go out and help more families, and then they can continue building a team outside of you. So which one are you really doing? I'm recruiting to build, right? Now, yes, I get people will fizzle out, they will quit, they think, oh, it's so hard, oh my God, I gotta be so smart. No, you don't. You guys know anything about, I work retail, I didn't know nothing about personal finance. But yet I came in, learned, got trained, got licensed, and I can make money, right? Yeah. And for like the longest time, I'll tell you guys, for the longest time, and Missy Nick knows, I was like a lonely only for like 4 years. I just learned how to personally produce on my own personal pen, right? And also, you should be paying your own bills on your personal pen, especially when you come full time, right? And if you're not full time, you're part time. Everything you make in WFG, you should be saving. Everything you make at your job, that pays you all your bills. I was breaking this down into Muslim for a few other people. Imagine if you only made an extra $500 a month in WFG a month. That's $6,000 a year in your bank account. If you're making $1,000 a month, that's an extra $12,000 a year in your savings account or investments because of WFG, right? And then you get to a point where you start coming full time and you start having $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 months, and your expenses are, say, like your household expenses are only like, say, $4 grand, right? And let's say you're making 10 grand a month, you're saving $6,000 a month, right? That's $72,000 a year you're saving. Like really, like how well are you know, how big are you thinking about this, right? Now here's the thing about the 3-3-30. It's simple strategy, easy to understand guide that lets so that the new associates can recruit 3 team members while they observe 3 training sales within the first 30 days. Right? So if you're a trainee, you're seeing this repeatedly, over and over and over and over again. Right? It's clear, it's straightforward, it's fast, it's doable. Like there should be no reason why we're all not doing 3-3-30 every single month. Right? How many of you guys have ever heard, I need to make more money? All the time, right? But now what kind of conversation are you having with that person to get them here? Right? Now what can 3-3-30 do for you? Quickly generate leads for new recruits and clients, build a strong team that can help individuals and families, increase the size and scope of your business, jumpstart the business while revitalizing existing organizations, train new associates on how to build a successful business, and move you up to the next promotion ladder. Like when I took MD 2 years ago, I had one little spark, and that's what got me to MD. Right? I think the first month we did almost 15,000 as a team. Right? By the end of my MD run, we had done almost 65,000, almost enough for SMD in 3 months. And about 40,000 was personal, but still, right? But if you look at 3-3-30, a system whereby recruiting never stops, a system where sales never stops, a system whereby field training never stops, system where duplication never stops, cash flow never stops, promotion never stops, and building never stops. That's your foundation, right? A system to help you go deep and wide, a system to keep it simple, a system to make it clear, a system to do it fast, a system that is so doable. A system that builds a recruiting mentality, a system to fast start a new recruit immediately, a system to train the medium mentality, a system to build teamwork from the beginning, a system that trains a trainee, a system that builds a trainer, right? So if you're recruiting and you're the trainer, this helps you get to a whole nother level too. Because you're gonna learn how to deal with different people. We all have different personalities, don't we?
Yep.
Yes. Right? So every single person has different personality. You're gonna learn how to relate to every single different person that's on your team, right? A system that mobilizes everyone out in the field, a system that builds strong replacement lanes, a system that builds strong base shop, a system that builds a big hierarchy. 3-3-30 is our club, 3-3-30 is our building block. You focus on 3-3-30 and your dreams will come true, right? Because if you look at everything, like where you're at right now in life, wouldn't you think you'd be a lot further ahead?
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, let's accelerate that and just focus on 3-3-30. You realize we have what, about 25 people in this room? If every single person did their 3 recruits, we'd have a 75 new associate recruiting month. Just from this room, we'd already double in size, or actually triple in size, right? But now, let's kind of talk about why you build him. Let's just say Anthony is an SMD, right? And he has Krista, he's gonna do his 3-3-30. Krista is his fireball that wants to get out in the field, wants to talk to people, right? So part of the system is she has to become a client. Let's just say it's a $250 app. So it's 3,000 points at an 80% contract if you're an SMD. It's $2,400 helping that one client. Now, Anthony's got to take Krista out in the field. She's got to do her 10 appointments, right? He closes 5, helps 5 families at 3,000 points apiece. That's 15,000 another 15,000 personal points. That's $12,000. He's already made almost $15,000 recruiting one person going out in the field, right? By the way, in the market, right? Has kids, the whole deal. Now, let's just say the other two. Let's just say Swanson and Janice, which I'm surprised they're not, neither of them are here, right? But now let's just say Anthony matches that up with me, right? So they each do a 3,000 point app. So his split is $2,400, right? I gotta help him do 20 appointments between the other two. 10 close at 3,000 points apiece, 30,000 points split, so he gets 15,000, he still makes another 12,000. Look at his personal production though. 36,000 personal points and cash flow almost 29 grand in a month. In a month. You multiply that by 12, that's $360,000 a year. Not including overrides, by the way. Not including the quarterly bonus pool, right, which Nick's going to talk about here in a little bit, right? That's your total cash flow. But here's what I want you to start thinking. Are you lonely only here right now? You got no agents under you, right? Not here. You're by yourself, right? Or maybe you're a sunflower. We see you. Maybe you got like 2 or 3 people. Or maybe you got a little bit of a squad. Probably about, say, 10, 15 people, like Cynthia Moore's team. Or you're running a boutique. You got about 20, 30 people showing up. Or, how big are you really thinking? How big do you want your base shop to be?
That's Momentum Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
This is 500 people, guys, at Momentum Monday. It's roughly probably about 100 SMDs in there. But imagine if that was just your base shop. Imagine if you had a base shop like this. This is your base shop. And you're popping out. Imagine this is your base shop. You're popping out an SMD, a couple SMDs every month, direct, or even second generation, third generation. Does it really matter? Right?
FYI, this is the group we started out with. Our Momentum Mondays, literally, when I first started in the business, were 5 individuals. This is just, I mean, seriously, it was me and Nick and 3 or 4 other people, so it was like maybe 6 of us that were consistent. And this is what it turned into. And this is just a portion.
Yeah.
This is just people that can show up to Momentum Monday. That's not his entire squad.
Yeah. But imagine, this is what the future looks like. And guess what it starts with? 3-3-30, right? And as I wrap up, before I bring up Nick, I'm going to leave you guys with one thing, right? I talked about being, knowing what you want, clarity. Clarity is the child of careful thought and a mindful experimentation. It's out of the book I'm actually reading right now by Brian Bouchard. Okay, how clear are you on what you want out of life? What do you want your life to look like? Now, what is it going to take for you to have that life? Right? Like, if you look at my business plan, it's completely clear and concise on what I want to accomplish this year. Now, will I accomplish everything? Maybe, maybe not. Right? But I'm going to be a lot further ahead than people that aren't clear and concise on their goals. Right? Is Nick back there? Yeah. Okay. Can you grab him for me? Right? So that's what I want you guys to write down right before Nick comes up is, what do you want to accomplish? What's your big major goal this year? What is the one thing you want to accomplish? Just one thing this year. What's the big accomplishment you want? Okay. Now my next thing I will tell you is sit down with your trainer, have the conversation, tell them, okay, this is what I want. What do I have to do? Right? So other than that, guys, that's my time. Give a big round of applause for our CEO, Nick Lancaster.
Give another hand, give All right. Did Matt do great or what?
Yes.
What's the focus?
3:30.
330, right? 330. It's not just a 1 month promotion run. It's every single month to start creating a habit to where now you become duplicatable. If I bring in Anthony, right? If I hit my 330 and then Anthony sees me hit 330, now Anthony wants to go hit 330, right? The more examples of success that we have, the more people are hitting it, the more new people are going to see that that's what you're supposed to do. Right? Write this down. The only way to widen the narrow path is for more people to walk on it. Meaning, the more people that hit 330 or hit SMD in an environment like this, the more believable it becomes, the more it paves the way for others to come in and do the same. If no one's doing it, it makes it almost impossible from a mindset for other people to do it. Like, man, SMD seems so big. Not if we're promoting an SMD every single month out of year, right? And there has been times where we've promoted, in Norco office, we promoted 9 SMDs when we were in that office on the front. We promoted 9. There's people that have had 15-year careers that have never promoted an SMD. Don't want to mention any names, but they have an office not too far from here.
Temecula. Sorry.
You know what I mean? Never promoted an SMD. We promoted 9 in the last 3 years. And so, I want you guys to understand something like, Matt said it best, the speed of the leader determines the speed of the pack. You can't expect people to do stuff that you yourself isn't doing. Right? You can only lead someone as far as you yourself have traveled. Right? Otherwise, they're following someone else that's further ahead, and that's fine. That's all leadership, that's leverage, that's association, all that stuff. That's why we're getting in front of Monty. Monty's built it way bigger than me, and so I want to get you guys in front of bigger people. But here's the thing, you got to start to believe. I had a conversation with Rich Stahl, and I was supposed to talk about compensation, but let's be real. The super base and super team compensation is, doesn't even apply to you. Right? You got to hit your 3-3. You got to, start running for SMD. But I will tell you this. I had a conversation with Rich Stahl, which is one of the co-founders, him and Monty Home and Swan Wynn, who wrote the System Builder. And he asked me, he said, hey, what do you think the biggest challenge is in the company? People say, oh, it's retention. A lot of people, we recruit quit. Or people say, oh, it's biggest challenge is people keeping the policies. There's a lot of, persistency. A lot of people write up policies and then it charges back. He's like, that's what the normal person would think, right? That those are the major problems. Or people are afraid to talk to people, so people don't do enough work. They don't do enough activity. Those are all good things. He said, but the number one thing is belief.
Yep.
He says a lack of belief. And there's levels to belief, right? There's a guy making $100,000 that doesn't believe he can get to 250. There's a guy who starts off part-time and doesn't believe he can come full-time. Right? Some of you that are still part-time, you don't believe you can come full-time. You don't believe you can make enough money to replace your bills right now. Right? Everything comes down to belief. Like, how much do you really believe in this business? How much do you believe in what it is that we do for people? How much do you believe that this opportunity is the best opportunity out there? Because the bigger that belief is, the more you're going to get done. The more you're going to attract other people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I want you guys to write this down really fast here. Write down these 3 words first. Coach yourself correctly. It's your ability to coach yourself correctly that's very, very important. That's the things you say to yourself, and that's your belief. You can have a great mentor, but as soon as I walk away, or whoever your trainer is, as soon as you lose communication or you're off on your own, how are you coaching yourself on a daily basis? What things are you telling yourself? Right? Are you getting down on yourself? Are you negative? Are you focused on victim things? Are you Are you going through some challenges that are, sucking up your energy? What is it? But you gotta be able to coach yourself correctly. And one of the things you need to know is, and I want you guys to write this down, is I'm only one recruit away from an explosion. Right? It just takes one person. You don't know who that's gonna be. Right? So I was sitting right when I started, it was just me. And now there's 500 licensed agents in my organization. 500. Little by little, your vision will start to get bigger as you're around people that think bigger. Right? When you start having I'm going to shut this off because everyone looks at this and they don't pay attention. That's Jeff right there, $5 million a year earner. When I met him, like I told a lot of you guys in the beginning, or earlier this morning, when I shook Jeff's hand, he was making $500,000 when I started. I hadn't made a penny yet. I'd been in the company for 4 months. I hadn't made a dime. I didn't even get my first pay till August. So started in March, I got paid in August. Some of you guys wouldn't even be here if it took you 4 months to make money. But here's the thing, if you want to make money fast, then you gotta get licensed fast. Because we can't pay you without a license. Right? But I'll tell you what, that license has paid me over $3 million in commissions since I've been here. You gotta be able to coach yourself correctly. Your mindset is huge. So you gotta be clear on what you're looking for. Like Matt said, you're clear on your goals, but what are you looking for? Do you want to just be one person on your team, or do you want to have a big team? Big team, big income, right? Did Bill Gates build Microsoft by himself?
Nope.
No, he's got people, he's got smarter people. You think he's actually developing the software himself right now?
Nope.
No, he's got a team of people that are a lot smarter than him. But are they really?
Nope.
Who's smarter? Him because he got the people around him that are smarter?
Yep.
Or the actual smart people? There's some great producers in the company, but the smart ones are the ones that brought those people in.
Yep.
Right?
That's one smart way of putting it.
Think about it. Like someone goes, oh man, that guy made $1 million. Well, someone else brought that dude in and makes a percentage off that million and didn't have to do all that work.
Yep.
Right? And Think and Grow Rich, right? Henry Ford, right? He was on the stand getting questioned as an imbecile. Like he didn't know who well, everyone knows the 16th president is, but let's just throw a random number out there, the 22nd president or whatever. I don't know if you guys know your presidents, but you guys know who your 16th president was? Abraham Lincoln, right? Everyone knows the 16th president, but I'm just saying, you don't have to know every president, right? But some you probably should. But so they were questioning him on the stand like, you're an idiot. And he went on to say, he goes, I don't fill my mind with useless facts. Yep. Meaning I don't have to know everything. He goes, but I know someone. He goes, I have an association, I have a mastermind group, and I know someone that knows that answer. So who's really the genius? The person that knows everything, or the person that knows someone that knows everything? Right? And especially in business. Like I've had the privilege, and I've been very grateful for surrounding myself with people that are better than me in certain areas. Right? I got people really good at product. I got people really good with people. I was shy introvert, didn't know enough about product, nothing. But I've been able to surround myself and build a team and a mastermind group of people that are a lot better than me in a lot of areas. And part of it, just to kind of, on a funny note, I know, Eddie's already giving me that look, like, come on, dude, you're downplaying yourself. I do play a role, like, to make everyone feel like they're better than me too, just so that it makes it more believable. It makes it more like you got a shot. Just kidding. But you know what I mean? Trust me, I know what the hell I'm doing. But that's part of it, right? Think about it. Do you think, right? You're not going to duplicate yourself if you're King Kong in the business, because then they look at you and go, I can never be that good. But if you're just, you're true to who you are, and you build a great team, you live by the right principles, you do what's right, you don't take any shortcuts, you do the right things, people will start to see, like, all right, hey, you know what, I can win here too, because he's just he or she's just a regular, person that just had a great opportunity and took advantage of it. Mm-hmm. Right? You're in the right place. Okay? The other bullet point is you got to make the business fun and you got to make it look easy. Man, especially like in your associations with people, like people in your market. Again, I've never knocked on a door or cold called or anything like that. And part of that is that I've been able to attract people, I've been able to attract clients through my social media, through my interactions with friends and family and people I've met and stuff like that. But I don't make the business look really hard, although I work and I do things when people aren't watching, which is the real work is the calls and the things that you have to go through to get appointments, all that stuff. But if you make the business hard, meaning like you're frustrated, oh, this person didn't show, that appointment didn't go through, or blah, blah, all this stuff, you make it look hard, then it doesn't become very attractive to other people, right? Like you teach someone the grind that's in the business, but to attract someone, you gotta show lifestyle. You gotta show that you're having fun doing it. And here's the thing, you gotta fall in love with the hard work.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Because the reality is that even, it's like, make it look fun. Well, yeah, it's still work. There's still people that make a lot of money that don't enjoy every minute of everything that they do. Part of it is a sacrifice. Part of it is like, crap, I got to do it because I have a goal and I have an outcome that I want to accomplish. Right? But you can't make it look so stressful and look so difficult. Part of that is your results. You got to be able to get results because your results make the business look more attractive.
Yep.
Makes it look easy when you're getting results. You go too much time without getting any results, you make the business look hard. You make people around you question the business. Well, if it's so good, how come you're not doing crap? You know what I mean? So we got to keep it that way. You got to make sure that you protect that. You protect that mindset. Someone asks you how things are going, unbelievable.
Amazing.
No matter what, even if you had a big setback, unbelievable, better than expected, right? Because it's all perspective, it's all on how it's viewed, and plus you got to be telling yourself it's not going to stay that way. It's not just you're like creating this facade where, hey, it looks good, but I'm really struggling. If you're struggling, that should be a temporary thing anyways, but you don't make that the showcase that you're displaying to everyone else out there. Does that make sense? Of course there's going to be difficult times. Of course, and that's okay. That's part of life. That's how you get to the next level. Right? We were talking last night, till pretty late last night, till about 11 o'clock or whatever, and you left, about the sacrifice, about the commitments, and the mindset, specifically the comfort zone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Think about it. You are where you are based on what you've done up till now in your life. Right? If you want to get to the next level, you got to make steps. You got to make decisions. You got to take new actions to get to another dimension in your life. Right? It's like if I asked you right now, how long have you been at your current job right now? If you're part-time, your current job, more than let's say 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Who's been at a job like at least that long or more? Raise your hand. Raise your hand high. Okay. So here's the thing. But how many of you would say you're pretty ambitious? You're ambitious. You're a go-getter. You're a hustler. Okay, so the same hands went up. Well, then if you're still at the same job for 3 to 5 years and you're not really progressing, how ambitious really are you? You've gotten comfortable. And that's normal. It's not a knock. It's just what happens is you get comfortable with who you're working with, you get comfortable with the routine and all these things. Next thing you know, years go by. And that's what changed for me when I came into the business. Was that every job I had, I was about there 2, 3, 4 years, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's something that happened, someone said something, I got exposed to something, new opportunity, whatever it was, but I hit a part, we were talking about it last night, about you're going to hit a part where you're just like, is this it? Right? And the longer it takes for you to hit that, the worse it is because you're just dragging it on. Like right now, you could be at a job for 10 years, and it's like, if you haven't had that conversation with yourself yet, like, is this it? Then you're going to keep going years later. Like right now, money you're making, what you're doing right now, you ask yourself, is this it? Then just keep going through the routine. If you're like, no, I deserve more, I want more, blah, 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 then your mind will now start to go to work on, all right, how do I get to the next level? What am I going to do differently? And that's why you're in WG, is that there's no limit. It's unlimited. Do you think that every leader in WG woke up going, or was born, or Like literally like was like destined to be a financial advisor and build a brokerage?
Nope.
No, that's not a dream in anyone's life, I don't think. I mean, honestly, I had no intentions of being in this industry. Matter of fact, if Jesus, the guy who invited me originally, would have said it was financial services, it probably would have been very intimidating to me, and I probably wouldn't have came. Just keeping it real. You guys are like, hey, financial services, and you know, there's meetings, and for me, it was just, hey, you know what? You are where you are. If you want, you're right. As good as it is right now, it can be 10 times better. I want you to come take a look. And I saw a bigger picture, more above and beyond just, you know, one, I was going to help my family, or myself, my family, and help others and get paid. But it was the fact of building a business, building a lifestyle, and that progression that would never stop. I was having a conversation, right? I think we were talking about it yesterday, Justin and I, about like I'm literally like earning overrides and getting pay from people I've never even met before on my team. Like I have SMDs I haven't even met before. I have brokers that are in other offices in other states that I've never even shook hands with. I've never had a conversation with them. I see them on my commission statement. I'm like, oh, okay, that person's doing good. Never met them before, yet I get a percentage off every sale they write. That's the power. Imagine when, I mean, why don't you guys start thinking really, really big? One, I mean, a small level is, can you get an office like this? I mean, this is what, 2,500 square feet, or how big is this office? It's like, let's call it 2,500 square feet, okay? So this office is 2,500 square feet.
Oh, I think it's 26, yeah.
You have offices in here, right? You sublease a couple offices, and you run a little base shop like this. This pays you about 20 grand a month right here, just on the activity that we're doing right now. Now, if we double our activity, it could be a lot more. So that's one level. Then you start thinking, well, shoot, who do I know in other cities? Who do I know in other states? Shoot, what happens when the company goes to Europe? Or to, you know, I'm worried in parts of China, but what, you know, when we open the floodgates to, you know, South America? And it's like, hey, who do you know that can go out there and build a business? Who do you know that's an entrepreneur or business owners that have family contacts or family ties to other cities, other states, other countries? This will get to a point where, again, like those kinds of things will happen for you too. You'll be earning overrides, you'll be making money on people you've never even met before. But you got to start building. You got to start hitting you got to start hitting the ground running. You got to get more aggressive with it. It's time to really play offense. You know, with what we do for people and the opportunity that we give to people that want to make more money is unprecedented, right? People come in here with resumes and stuff like that. I'm just like, you're looking for a job. So wait, so what pay are you looking for? And then they'll tell me, well, I'm looking to make X amount of dollars, 60 grand a year. This guy told me, I'm looking to make 60 grand a year. I go, why would you put a limit on your income? Why would you put a value that low on yourself and your time? I go, that's a good month for me. You know, it's all, you know, don't ever put a limit on what you can do, because you can, I mean, because, you know, it's crazy. It's like the mindset where it's like, do you think someone making $5 million a year in WG, do you think the work that they're doing today is deserving of that?
Hell yeah.
Like, no, I mean, from a standpoint that what they do in that present moment, outside of what they build,
No.
that the time that they put in that day, like they wake up, they show up to a BPM, whatever, but it's because of what they've compounded and built, right? Think about it. I'm making $5 million a year. That kind of, you know, it's kind of like, wow, okay. So you're making 400 grand a month. You know, and somebody like, oh, that's outrageous, or oh yeah, and how many people actually do that? You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. And look in the next 3 to 5 to 10 years on what happens with that. 100 grand is nothing. I mean, that's going to be a month for you pretty soon. Sooner than you think. You're closer to leading a big team than you even think. There's no such thing as a perfect leader. Everyone's going to build it different. Your time and how your team grows and how you get good at it's all going to vary. There's no set path. Everyone's going to have their own trials and tribulations. But I tell you what, if your belief is here, if you understand what this can do for you, you have no, I mean, it's going to surprise you.
you can go put your head down the next 2, 3, 4 years, and you can look up and you can become and you can be financially independent. Like really, like have something built, your own time, your own schedule, your own money, and then yeah, you have other hobbies, other things you want to do, you can still do those things. But you do have to make a certain level of commitment and focus to building it. It's like we talked about, getting it off the ground, a rocket ship. All the money, all the time, all the energy is in the launch, not while it's in orbit. Right? They shut down right, there's a lot of, I mean, it's on cruise control and it's already up in the air. But it's getting the business off it's, you know, same thing in business. It's getting it off the ground that puts a lot of time, energy, and dedication. Can you get lucky? Yeah, but what's, what is luck really? When opportunity meets preparation, right? I say when hard work meets opportunity and preparation, right? It kind of takes all three. But you notice that the luckiest people are usually the hardest working people.
Yep.
Because they play the odds, right? It's like, if you go bring in 100 people into the company, you're gonna find a potential superstar versus someone who brings 2 or 3. Yeah. And just play the probable, play the numbers. Right? So, I want to leave, I just want you guys just to start thinking like that you're here to build something, and Matt nailed it, even if you're just starting, even if you've been here for a little bit, you can start over today. You can get fast started. You can go, you know what, I'm hitting my fast start right now. What if every 10 days you said, hey, I'm gonna go get a new business partner, I'm a new, this, that, or every 30 days, I'm gonna hit my 3-3-30 again. It's not just a first month promotion. It's a monthly thing that you create a consistent habit with, and you start to build people around that. There's teams that have multiple people in their offices that are hit. Okay, how many of you guys hit 3-3-30? Stand up via 3-3-30. And then 5, 10 people standing up. That's gonna create 50, 60, 100 people in here. Man, and things start to roll. You need 10 licensed agents to become SMD and get that 80% contract. Average SMD in the company makes $80 grand a year, doing one sale a week, just by themselves. Their team produces, you double, triple that. This isn't rocket science. It takes some discipline, it takes some habits, it takes some things you're gonna learn here, every week. But make sure that you're putting in the time and energy. What you put into it is what you're gonna get out of it. Right? You don't go to the gym once a week and expect to have a chiseled body that's gonna compete on stage in a muscle competition or whatever, right? In a fitness competition. You wouldn't do that, right? If you wanna win at anything, you gotta make some sacrifice and put a good amount of time and energy into it. I get it, we're busy, we have jobs, all this stuff, but really, look at the time versus the payoff.
Yep.
How much time you're putting in and what's the payoff in return.
Yep.
And that's where it comes back down to belief, because you don't put in the time because you don't believe that if you really put the work in that it would pay you more than what you're making right now. If you really believed the business the way that you should, every single one of you would be full-time. You can't say you're 100% sold out if you're still part-time. Because somehow you've convinced, if you're still part-time, you've convinced yourself that you can't make enough money to be full-time here. That your job is there like a safety net kind of a thing. Man, that's the biggest crutch, really. It's a crutch more than it is anything. It's holding you back. Unless you're lazy or unless you lack that belief, which causes the laziness and you're not getting the work done. You get the work done, if your back was against the wall and you had to do it, you'd surprise yourself at how big you could actually get. Trust me. And I've had my shares of ups and downs, trust me. I've had times where sometimes you wake up, you don't feel like it. It goes with anything. Right? A trainer, for someone training to go into a boxing arena, they have days where they don't feel like it. But you gotta have more days where you do. You gotta have more days where you're focused and where you're trying to get ahead. That's all. That's the difference between someone who's average and someone who's a real competitor, is they're just focused a little bit more frequently. was a thing here, I'll end with this. It said, where's that picture at? It says, don't be upset. Don't be upset with the results you didn't do from the work, or don't be upset with the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. You know, man, why ain't I? Yeah, I had someone on my team. Man, I should be an EMD by now. Well, the reason why you're not is because you didn't do the work necessary to get there. It is what it is. You know, if you're not where you want to be, it's because you didn't get the results necessary. Don't be mad. Don't be upset with the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. Right?
That's crazy.
It blows me away. People complain about stuff or blame others, but it's like at the end of the day, results, you know, only results count. You know, in anything. You know, we could be sensitive and we could, pull out the baby powder and do all this stuff. I mean,
Numbers don't lie.
what's up, Gruden? It's all right. It's okay. Right?
That's what you wanna hear?
You got to be tough on yourself. That's why I said you got to coach yourself correctly. It's very, very important because, you can talk yourself out of a lot of good things. But you surround yourself with people that think the way you want to think or have the success that you want to have, you're going to be more on the right track mentally. You'll stay a little bit more focused. Keep those goals in front of you and stay in communication with your trainer, stay in communication with your S&D. Very, very important. It's harder, it's you only have one person that brought you in. It's easy to communicate with the person that brought you in. It's a lot harder for the person that brought you in to communicate with everyone they brought in. Right? Does that make sense? Like, it's easier for me just to talk to Guillermo because he brought me in than it is for me to call all my directs. You know? Which we're missing a few people, but I mean, there's still a good little handful. You know, between Reggie, Arthur, Cynthia, and then I have Eddie, Byron, Melissa, Lupe, Matt, Gina, right? And then we're missing some people too. But it's like it's easier for you guys, for you to reach out to me than it is for me to reach out to all 10 of you. So same thing with your teammates, right? Make sure you're trying to always get better, always trying to grow. It's worth it, you guys, I'll tell you that, it's worth it. And I think that's where, at the end of the day, that's where belief comes from, is it gonna be worth it?
Yep.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
But if you compare it to a job, you're like, all right, I show up to the job because it's gonna be worth it, I'm gonna get that paycheck that I need to pay my bills. Well, you need to have a mindset that this is worth it, that the work you put into this is gonna be and be able to light a fire your boss and build a business that you can continue to reap the benefits of and grow forever. And it will take on a life of its own, like I said. You want to come up and do the honor thing?